Morning, good morning. Hello, my darlings. How are you? Hello. How is everyone? I hope you're well. I hope you are well. It is another bright and breezy spring morning in Australia. So, my darlings, I hope you're well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my regular Thursday live Q&A session. And whether you are folding laundry, trying to get your kids to school, to bed, or somewhere else, or you've had a tough day and you're having a really hard time and you're just feeling really, really not great, you are welcome here. You're always welcome here, ladies. So no matter where you are at right now, this space is for you in the good times, bad times, devastating times, and every time in between. Morning, Carol. Nice to see you, darling. I want to welcome you to my table. When we have these live sessions, I want you to know that everything is on the table. We can talk about anything you want. I always use a theme before we start, just to kind of warm you up and let you know what's been going on with my week. But you can ask me anything about anything. I just ask that you put a Q before your question so I know it's a question. Morning, Kate. Nice to see you, love. I know that you are busy, aren't we all, flat out, especially at this time of year. It's a crazy, crazy time of year, trying to juggle a million things. But one of the things that's really important to me when we do these lives is to just stop for a second and have a check-in with ourselves. Just stop, give yourself a couple of seconds, a couple of nice, deep cleansing breaths. And take a couple of seconds to just check in and see how you're going today. I find that having a number, having a scale, it helps. 0 to 10, how are you feeling? 0, life's pretty bad. You're not having a good time. And 10, it couldn't be better. So for 1 second, stop, take some deep breaths and let me know in the comments, where are you sitting today between 1 and 10? For me, today, I've only just woken up because it's early in the morning here, so I'm probably at about an 8. Nothing has happened too distressing as I woke up this morning, apart from the fact that getting up is not one of my favorite things to do. So I'm probably at an 8 today. This week is probably sat at an 8, if I'm honest. So that's pretty good, if you ask me. Today's theme is going to be about what happens when we finally stop running. And I hope you ladies get a lot out of this and find this helpful. I've had an interesting week. For those who don't know, I went on a little break, which was really nice, to be honest with you. It was nice to get a break. It has been quite a brutal year. I found myself dealing with lots and lots and lots of fairly quick succession hits of different things, problematic, challenging, difficult things. And so my little breakaway was to kind of give me some breathing space. Nothing dramatic changed for me this week. To be honest, there was no big shifts in anything, but something inside me has really softened. And I was, as I planned for these Thursday lives, I was pottering around, what was the shift for me? Was there something? Because sometimes there's a thing, right? But what I realized was it was that I had stopped, and I'd really stopped. When I went to Samoa recently, I've never been there before, so I didn't know about Samoa at all, really. There was monsoonal rain because it's the tropics. So it was monsoonal rain, really a lot of rain. And that's what it was for me. It was a monsoonal rain, a lot of quiet time, and the car to try and travel around in. It was quite interesting for me that in this little island, there were no shops, there were no tourists sort of traps, if you like. There were no restaurants, no bars, no cinemas. There was none of the normal trappings of a breakaway, and it was perfect for me. I was really comfortable where we were staying. It was really lovely, but it was very still. No TV. There was air conditioning, thank goodness. No TV. And for me, it was what I really needed. It was a time to really be still. Now, I don't know about you or your relationship with stillness, but stillness for a lot of people is not a nice thing. And I'd love to know how you deal with stillness. Do you have stillness in your life? Do you run from stillness? Do you know what it feels like to be still? Lots of women say to me about that kind of thing, about stillness, being still, is, well, how do you do it? It's tricky because how do you explain how you do stillness? For me, it's a really slow, empty space. It's a time of no expectations, no performing, no noise that's going to pull you into anything. And stillness for me is really steadying. it's not fancy, you know what I mean? It's not anything magical. It's just kind of ordinary nothingness. And for me, I adore it. So, Sarah, you're not much stillness, but I've been making time for it, which is gorgeous. And Carol, I've been alone, but can't switch off most of the time. And I think that's not unusual for women, right? I think we are busy with work sometimes, with our children sometimes, with our home, with our family, with our friends, with our jobs, with our community, with our life, and with, you know, oftentimes with the hurt and upset of relationships ending or partners doing things that have really distressed us. So it's not common for us to be very still, and so we find stillness quite challenging. I think a lot of women find it quite strange and a bit uncomfortable. You know, slowing down can feel like it's foreign and weird and uncomfortable, especially after years and years and years of being switched on. So it makes sense to me that, you know, life trains us to be busy. In fact, now I don't even think that life trains us to be busy. I think we are rewarded. The busier we are, the more we do, the more intense things are, the more, you know, we are rewarded for that. Society really sort of lifts that up and says this is great to be this frantic, chaotic, busy life. But I think it's really bad for us. I think it's bad for our stress levels, our cortisol levels. I also think it doesn't give us the time we need to deal with the onslaught of life. And some of you girls I know really well, and I know you've had a lot to face this year. But when do you process that and have time to manage it and have time to just work through it if you're not still? For me, the stillness was lovely, and it allowed me to just let some of the big things land this year. And there have been some really big, challenging, difficult, painful, emotional, hard things for me to process this year. When I went on holidays, I wasn't thinking about having this dramatic stop of everything. I didn't imagine I was going to be doing nothing. I didn't know anything much about Samoa. But it was such a treat when I got there to go, there's nothing to do. I mean, the scenery is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, the scenery is very beautiful. But there was nothing to sort of busy my mind with. I didn't have magazines or books or anything. I had my laptop and I did some research about the space we were staying in because I was keen and interested in it. But that was about it. And it was what I really needed. I needed time to just allow what's happened this year to sit and just be with me, you know, like holding something in your hand. You know, stillness to me is like this. It's like I'm not doing anything with it. I'm not trying to work it out. I'm not trying to fathom what's happened. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just letting it be there and just allowing my mind to be a bit stiller, my body to be a bit stiller, my heart to be a bit stiller, and to just sit with the heaviness of all of the things. It was divine. So how is your life with stillness? You know, do you avoid it? Do you welcome it? Do you know how to manage it? How does it feel for you? You know, when was the last time that you actually had quiet time? And I don't mean 10 minutes and a cup of tea. I mean 3 hours of nothing. Just doing nothing, just being a bit still and doing nothing, not finding something, you know, washing, iron, cooking, cleaning, not calling a friend, not reading a magazine, not scrolling on your phone, not cleaning the house, like just nothing, just real stillness. It's divine if you can do it. So I would welcome your comments about stillness. I would welcome your questions, whatever they might be about anything. Let me know right now if you've got any questions. And also I want to invite you to try and find a tiny spot this week that is not filled. And if you can only tolerate 2 minutes of stillness, do it. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, whatever you can manage, and try and build it into that self-care ritual you have around allowing yourself to slow down, allowing yourself to just breathe, allowing yourself to just let whatever's happened recently land on you, and just give yourself time. So I would invite you to do that. Sarah, I used to avoid it at all costs, but not anymore. I'm a different housing situation, which has helped dramatically. And I think that's the other thing, you know, sometimes we've got to change our situation to find the stillness. Sometimes we've got to do something and decide to do something to be able to invite stillness. For me, it was getting, oh, excuse me, my glasses. For me, it was really getting away from the day to day and not having anything that I could use to fill up the space. I'm alone a lot of the time. I love it, but not sure if it's the same as stillness. And aloneness is, again, I think some people don't tolerate being alone really well. And I think aloneness is also really delicious. But if you're alone and doing, you're still doing, you're not still. But I think, again, it's about practicing, practicing doing nothing and being still and just sitting and just singing what happens. I have a really still mind, which I love. I love the fact that I don't ruminate much. I don't tend to have a lot of churning thoughts and sort of distress going on in my mind. So I have quite a still mind, which I really love. But I'm generally busy. I generally have a lot to do. So although I have quite a still mind, I can really have quite a busy life. So yeah, it's a really blessing. It's a big blessing to be able to just stop. I just quickly say, if you are new to my channel, which you might be, I try and get on here every single Thursday morning, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, at 7:30. I have a notification bell at the top of the screen. If you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when I'm coming live. And when I do these lives, generally what I do is I come in, I chat about my week a little bit, and then I invite you to ask me questions if you have any questions about anything, and I try and answer as many as I possibly can. For those of you who are looking for support and life has been really tricky, I have 2 video series fully available right now. I finally finished them. Yahoo! Didn't take me long. Yeah, it did take me a long time, actually. So the first series is Heartbreak to Healing. It is for women whose long-term relationship has ended, and it literally walks you through the journey of those really challenging early days. So that is the Heartbreak to Healing series. It's the top of the page under the playlist, and the videos just will play one after another. In addition to that, I have my Why Did You Cheat series, which is a series about finding out about an affair and the process you are likely to go through once you have discovered the affair, and it kind of guides you through the things to expect and how to manage them. So those 2 series are now live on my YouTube channel. And as I said, each video will just continue playing, a bit like a Netflix series, only not, because it's not Netflix, but it just is a series that will walk you through. I kept the videos in bite-sized pieces so you can watch them, and it's not going to take you hours and hours and hours to chew through them. So yeah, if you're looking for support, they're there. I've got some free resources on both of those series. There is a download on each. There is a survival guide that you can purchase from my store above. I am currently working on a new series, which is Your Questions, My Take, and they will be coming out weekly as well soon. And for December, I will be doing a new series, which is Surviving the First Holidays, so the first Christmas without your partner. And I will be talking to you every single week in December about some of the things that are going to come up and how to navigate them in the first part of separation, when it's Christmas time is a very challenging time, and Thanksgiving. So we're going to do that during December. There's lots coming in the new year, my darlings. A lot is coming. If you've got questions, pop them into the comments and I will get to those in a second. So in the new year, I have a couple of new series coming in. I'm going to be talking about midlife transitions, being a midlife woman, and all the things that come with that. So gut health, mental health, self-care, self-love, all the things around midlife. So I'll be doing that in the new year. I'm also going to be doing a series for single mamas about transitioning from being in a 2-person situation to a 1-person situation and all the things that come with that. I have a lot coming up on the channel. Next year, I'll be opening up a membership on the channel. I will be talking to people about that next year, so get ready for that. And in my store, I will be adding lots and lots and lots and lots of products for you to purchase. Not my members. For my members, my current members in my membership program, do not buy anything I've told you that you get it all for free. So that's kind of where we're at. It's been a challenging year trying to push through all the things and learn a new channel and learn how to do things. I'm getting there. Finally, I am getting there, which feels really good. So let me see what is going on in the comments. Yeah, some people, their brains are very busy, and yeah, overanalyzing everything. And it takes practice, when you have a busy mind, and I think a lot of us do, right? So rumination and the churning of all the thoughts is really an anxious response, right? We're trying to work out and get consistency, and we want predictability. And so our mind is chasing that. So our mind gets busy with all of the possible scenarios. What about this? 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 And this really big attempt to kind of get your life to feel quite predictable and to get rid of uncertainty. Our minds do not particularly enjoy uncertain times, and so it wants to be certain. So your mind will work really hard to get a level of certainty, and so it gets busy. And there are some really good tricks for slowing your mind down and quietening your mind. Lots of really good tricks, like swapping out a thought is one of the easiest things. So if you've got a thought that's churning and you're worrying about it, is to literally sing a song. Your brain can only do one thing at a time, so it'll quiet it down. You could choose to recite something out loud. You might choose to do like a numbers game. For me, the easiest, because I'm not good with numbers, girls, is count back from 100 in threes. But anything that takes your mind to focus and concentrate will interrupt thought patterns. So when people say to me, "Oh, I can't, Debbie," I say, "Yeah, you can, but it does take some practice." Then it's about, stopping thoughts and going, "Okay, no, for this moment, I'm just going to be still," and noticing what comes up, what comes through my mind when I'm still. And a great thing to do is a couple of different things you could choose, visual things, right? So maybe you imagine that thoughts are like little clouds coming into your head. So a cloud will come in and it might be, "Oh, I need to get the washing done," or "God, where did I put the car keys?" or "Wow, that bill just arrived." And as it comes in, you just kind of notice that's a thought, but you don't start thinking about it. You just let it slip through. Or it could be like a leaf that's gone on a stream, it's just kind of going down the stream. So kind of noticing, "Oh, I notice I'm having that thought," but allowing the thought to kind of keep going through. It's a really good way to train your mind to get quieter. A lot of our mental health issues, a lot of our emotional distress is when we kind of throw out a fishing line and catch those thoughts and we kind of hold on to them. We've got them on a hook and now we're wrestling with the thought. What am I going to do? How am I going to manage it? What if this happens? What if that happens? How am I going to cope? This is going to be terrible. And of course, our body responds as if those thoughts are really happening. And so going from maybe a 4 out of 10 distress, we might head up towards a 6 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. So one of the best things we can do for our mind and body is go, "Okay, how am I going to bring my and that's the wrong way around. It should be lower. No, it would be higher." So we bring ourselves down from an 8 or 9 out of 10, trying to get ourselves down to a 5 out of 10. And there are lots of really good tricks and tips that you can do to help your mind just slow down a bit. And I always say to people, write down 0 to 10. Where am I at distress wise right now? Am I at a 5 out of 10, a 7, an 8, a 9? Am I 10 out of 10? And if I am, what if I do some deep breathing? What if I allow myself to just sit here for 1 minute, put a timer on for 1 minute, and imagine I'm watching a wave in front of me lift up and then come down. And just notice it in and out. And fortunately, in today's age, we're able to get on the internet and actually see apps that do this, apps that turn into squares or triangles or actual waves where we can And what those things do is they help us visually to be present with what is going on and to regulate our breathing and slow ourselves down. And then we check in again, where am I at now? Am I at a 7 out of 10, a 6 out of 10, a 5 out of 10? These are tools that we can use. We've kind of got to do them. They're not going to do themselves. We have to be in charge and do them. So let me know if you've got any questions. Let me know if you've got any comments about what I've just said. If you struggle to quiet your mind down, if you struggle to be still, let me know in the comments. Like I said, I come in once a week. I try to do this every single week. I didn't last week because I was away, but I try and come in every single week in an attempt to answer questions. So if you've seen one of my series on YouTube and you're like, "Debbie, I watched it, but I have a question about it," you can ask me. If you have a question about something I've missed or you didn't get an answer to a question, you can ask me that. You can ask me anything. I am a trained therapist. I've been doing this for over 2 decades. I don't do therapeutic work online. I do coaching online. I'm more than happy to help you in any way, shape, or form that I can. I've literally helped hundreds of thousands of women over the years. I've been working online for a very long time, 10 years now. Hello, I've missed you too. Nice to see you, gorgeous. Hello, Andrea. It's nice to see you, darling. So I've missed you too. I was wondering how your van is going and are you taking care of yourself? So if you have questions, please do pop them into the chat. Do not be shy. This is an opportunity to get some help. Carol, I like the counting backwards technique. You're going to try that. And I think that's the other thing, right? Is I'm happy to share as many techniques as I can think of with you. Some of you will go, wow, that was brilliant. It really worked well. And some of you will go, I can't do that. That's doing my head in. That's okay. Go find what works for you. It's like trying on shoes, girls. It's like trying on shoes. When we are looking for strategies to help us when we are distressed, it's like trying on shoes. Some of us want flat, wide foot, open-toed shoes. Some of us want bright red, shiny, stiletto, 10-inch stiletto heels. You find what fits for you. That's your job. My job is provide opportunities for you to be able to go, I could try that, I could try that, I could try that. That's my job. Your job is to go, I'll have a go and see if it fits. And it might not fit. That doesn't mean you're not helpable. That's a word I made up. It is, hey, this technique didn't work. What other technique can I try? And it's okay to come back to me week after week and say, Debbie, I tried that, it didn't work. Debbie, I tried that, it didn't work. Debbie, I tried that, it didn't work. Until we find what does work. Or maybe you need to tweak what I've given you to work. So keep going is what I'm saying to you. Keep going. Life is pretty challenging right now. There are lots and lots and lots of things going on globally that we are all trying to manage and struggling with. There's a lot going on at this time of year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, very challenging times of year. Lots of people are struggling financially, emotionally. There's just a lot going on. On top of all of that, a lot of us have had relationships that have failed. Maybe we found out our partners had an affair. And so there's all that additional stuff. Maybe it's our first Christmas without our partner and we've got kids and it's bloody hard. So it's really important. All right, let's see what the questions are. Kate, my darling, yes, that's me. 0 to 10 and then can't think how to get myself down. My brain stops working in that moment. Breathing's your friend, Kate. Breathe, 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 breathe. If you can do some breathing exercises, you'll switch your brain back on. This part of your brain is hijacked. If you imagine this part of your brain has literally zipped up your mouth and is got a hold of your brain and is making it go 100 miles an hour. Your job is to get your brain to slow down enough so that you can turn back on your brain and your mouth and you can start thinking and feeling again. So the goal is breathe. Breathe, 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 because breath is going to take you out of this part, the reptilian brain that's hijacked you, and help this part, which is the thinking part, turn back on again. So breathing is your friend. Stop and breathe. Don't speak. Don't speak. If your thoughts are racing, more breathing, more breathing. 4-7-8 breathing is the best thing you can do for yourself. It sadly takes time and practice. That 4-7-8 breathing technique is something you need to do every single day for 3 months, at least twice a day. Probably better to do it 6 times a day, but to do it every single day for 3 months. That's going to help your brain slow down. Those big breaths in, hold, and out. Do it 4 times and just keep doing it. You've got to get your brain to just switch back over to thinking mode. It takes a bit of practice and a lot of time, but it works, trust me. Jolanta, hello, my darling. Welcome to my channel. Would you say it's a wise decision to stay as friends after breaking and also live in the same house because neither of us can afford separate accommodation? That is a brilliant question. I hope you have had a look at the Heartbreak to Healing series. It's up on my playlist. There is a little download there that's free that you can have a look at. It talks about this, and my survival guide would be helpful for you in my store. But your questions, number 1, should you stay friends? No, is the plain answer. No, I don't think in that first year, if you, well, caveat, if you're the person who left, oftentimes you want to stay friends because you have done a lot of the emotional processing. If you are the person who is being left, then being friends gives you false hope. You misread situations thinking, oh, they want to get back together again. They're just going through a phase. They're going to change their mind. If you sit there and you think friendship helps us and it helps our kids, being polite to each other, being present with each other is helpful when you have children. Being friends is not. I think when you both have done your processing, when you both have moved on, at least 2 years post separation, then friendship is possible, but challenging. Now, on to the second part of what you're saying, my darling, which is, well, if you stopped, okay, so you've processed, your ex has not processed, okay? So I understand that you want to stay friends because you've processed it all and you want to leave. So you're in a completely different place to your partner. And your partner hasn't had the time to process, and your partner needs time to process. They are hurt, they're sad, they're probably bewildered. Why is this happening? Why she made this decision? I don't get it. So you have to give your partner time to just lean into that. And everything you do, your partner is going to think is a bid for reconnection because they want that. That's what they're desperate for. So to be kind to your partner, your ex-partner, you need to be mindful about, I want to be compassionate and kind to my ex, but I have to be careful about not sending mixed signals because that's going to hurt them for a longer period of time. So that's the first part. The second part is if you have to stay in the same house. Ladies, I'm going to tell you, separated under the same roof is like sticking needles in your eye. It really is. Again, the person who is leaving has had time to process. People take about 2 years before they actually go. So they've usually tried to work it out. They've tried to discuss it. They've felt miserable and unhappy. And they've gotten through a process over 2 years of going, I'm leaving. This isn't working for me. I'm leaving. And so they've had time to process all of it. The partner who is told, hey, I'm going, sometimes feels like they have been smacked around the back of their head with a saucepan because they're like, what the heck is that? Where did that come from? I thought we were good. I thought we were happy. I thought we were getting on with each other. Where did this come from? And it's a massive shock. And they have to catch up. So it takes time. So if you are living in a house together, one person is moving on and the other person is just beginning their journey. Sadly, in today's world, many of us have got to stay in the same house because financially we cannot afford to leave. Selling the family home might not be possible. We may not own the home we live in. We may be renting, and there's a rental crisis all over the bloody place. So living in the same house is so incredibly challenging. What I recommend, Jolanta, is that you spend some time thinking about boundaries. What are healthy boundaries for both of you? What do both of you need at this present moment? Your ex probably needs time to process and needs really firm boundaries from you to know where the lines are. Otherwise, your ex is going to be thinking, has she changed her mind? Does she want to try again? So you have to be so careful. It's especially challenging when you are living in the same house being separated because it looks from the outside like nothing has changed. You know, there's still cooking, cleaning, washing, ironing, there's possibly still children's stuff. It looks like nothing changed, and yet everything has changed. And that moment before bed where you go to separate rooms, if you do, I know people who are separated in the same house who are still in the same bed, which is absolute freaking agony, for the person who doesn't want the relationship to end. It's hard. So the best thing to do is to set up some really good, healthy, compassionate boundaries for the other person and for yourself. If you have moved on and you are starting to date again, do your ex a favor. Don't share any information with them. Don't tell them. They don't need to know. If they ask you, have you started dating again, and you have, be honest, but just keep it tight. Don't be sharing information that is gut-wrenchingly painful to the other person, but saying, I'm going to be starting to date again. If you're living in the same home, the boundaries around you, don't bring that person home. If you've got kids, you do not introduce them to your children for a minimum of 1 year, because kids also need time to adjust to the parental relationship being shattered to bits, really. I hope that was helpful for you, my darling. I hope that was helpful for you. Let me see. We have a couple of other questions. I'm just going to go back. Effie, that's the name of the person, not me swearing. How can you tell me the difference between somebody needing a space as a boundary and somebody using silent treatment as punishment? Oof, that's a really good question. That is a really good question. Okay. So a boundary is something we do to help another person know where the line is with us. A boundary is, this is the way I'd like you to treat me. Now, people don't have to do that. If we say to somebody, this is my boundary, and they go, oh, fuck off, I don't care about your boundary, I don't care what your boundary is, they can do that. They can choose to just ignore our boundaries, and we have to decide what we do when they do that. The difference between a boundary and silent treatment is this. A boundary is, I want to help you understand how to treat me. The silent treatment is, I want to punish you. I want to hurt you. I want to make you uncomfortable. I want you to feel discomfort. I want you to feel the discomfort of this. Silent treatment is not good. It's one of those things that one of the four horsemen. So there's a chap called, well, there's two people, a man and a woman called the Gottmans, who did some research around healthy communication in a relationship, and there were four that were really toxic to relationships, and really they could predict relationships ending based on these four communication styles. And one of them is stonewalling. And stonewalling is that silent treatment, it's getting up and walking out, it's refusing to have discussion. Psychologically, it is very painful when somebody refuses to talk to us. It is psychologically very painful. Human beings are wired for connection, and somebody saying, I'm not talking to you, can feel so painful. So the difference is, a boundary is a helpful step to help another person and ourselves know where our lines are. A boundary may be something like, I will not sit here while you yell at me. That could be a really helpful boundary, right? Where maybe a partner gets dysregulated for a multitude of reasons. Maybe they find it hard emotionally to stay regulated, so they yell and shout. And a boundary might be, I understand you're hurt and upset, and I want to hear you, but I can't sit here while you yell at me. When you are calmer, I will come back. That's a boundary, right? A person being silent while you speak is painful. We as humans want feedback about things. And so that's very painful when we're wanting the person to talk to us and they won't. Now, if we've yelled at somebody and they've said to us, hey, I'm not going to sit here while you yell. I'll come back when you're calmer. And they follow us and we're silent and we don't want to talk to them. That's not silent treatment. That's enforcing a boundary and saying, I'm not going to stay here with you while you yell at me. I'll come back to you when you stop, but I'm not going to listen to you while you yell. And that's not punishment. That's saying, I can't sit here while you yell at me. It feels too much for me and I can't do it. I hope that was helpful, my darling. Judy, hello, my love. This is the third year. I still find myself anticipating the tsunami of emotions to hit again. How do you keep them away as I choose to stay and work on our 40+ year relationship? Judy, a couple of things, really important things, okay? Number one, choosing to stay in your relationship is a choice and it's good for you if that's what you choose to do. Number two, the tsunami of emotions. How do you stop them coming? Sweetie, here's the thing. First of all, at 3 years, there shouldn't still be a tsunami. They shouldn't feel like a tsunami still at 3 years. They should be so they shouldn't still be at a 10 out of 10 3 years on. What that tells me is you haven't dealt with those yet. If they still feel like a 10 out of 10, you haven't processed them yet. You need to process them for them to reduce down, to come down to a 9 or a 7 or an 8 or a 6 or a 5. So that's the first thing I would be looking at. Why am I still at a 10 out of 10? Because a tsunami is a 10, right? So why am I still there? What have I not processed? The next thing is, how do I keep them away? We don't keep feelings away. Girls, stop with me for a minute. Listen to me. Feelings are your friends. Feelings are your friends. And the best way to deal with painful, challenging, emotionally difficult feelings is to stand still, bring it back to what we started with in the beginning, and know this is just a feeling. This is just a feeling. This feeling will not kill me. This feeling is just a feeling. Why am I feeling this feeling? What's this feeling trying to tell me? What triggered this feeling? How does it feel inside me when this feeling comes along? We welcome these, right? We try and bring them in. Oftentimes we try to run. I don't like the feeling. I don't want the feeling. Okay, I hear you. We love joy. We love joy. We welcome joy, most of us. we tend to not like sadness or anger or worry, but they're just feelings. And the more we can learn to be with all of the feelings, the more we can sit with the feelings and know that they're just feelings. Feelings are not facts. They're just feelings. And Judy, I'd be curious, love. I'd like to know more about what is it about the tsunami of emotion? What happens? When does it happen? How does it happen? Where does it happen? Is it a 10 out of 10? How long does that 10 out of 10 happen? What starts that? What finishes that? And I'd love to be able to work that through with you and help you start to really go through, okay, getting like a detective about this tsunami, understanding the tsunami and knowing this tsunami is information to me. Sorry, I'm getting warm, girls, so I'm going to put my aircon on. This tsunami is information for me. What am I going to do? How am I going to learn more about this tsunami so that I can process this tsunami and get this tsunami from a 10 out of 10 down to something more manageable, down to something that is not going to feel like it is literally coming up, swallowing me whole and washing me out to sea, because that's what a tsunami does. So I'm curious and I'd love to know more about that. I'm the one who has to stop the relationship. Yes, I saw that. Okay. This one is a tricky one. Love, honestly, I deal with tricky all the time, as I don't want to leave, but I can't be in this relationship when he's disrespectful and hurting me. He's got small children from a previous marriage. She is controlling him. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now it is tricky. It is a tricky one. Here's the thing. You need to work out, do you want to leave him, or are you trying to change what's happening? Because you need to be clear about that. You need to be really, really clear about that. If you're wanting to leave, you're wanting to leave. If you are wanting to get him to change something, you need to be sure that's what you're trying to do. You're saying you don't want to leave, but you can't be there when he's disrespectful and hurting you. So you have got to work it out. If he's got children from a previous relationship and she's controlling him, that's his business and he needs to deal with that. He needs to work out what he wants to do with that, if he wants to do anything at all, and he may not want to. So you've got to do some really hard thinking around, what is going on for you. And you've got to sit with this and work it out and really get clear on that. You've got to get really, really clear about it. You've got to work out, am I hoping my saying that I'm going is going to get him to come to the table and see that this is really serious and we have to get it sorted? Or are you really wanting to leave, especially when there are children involved? It's hard. When we love somebody and we want to stay, P.S., a lot of people get into a relationship and want to stay. They just think, this is intolerable. And I want it to be different. I don't like the way things are. And you want things to change. You have to have the hard conversations with yourself. You've got to have the conversations about, what would it mean for them to change? What do I actually need? Like real concrete. I need them to not phone her 3 times a week. I need them to not lie to me. I need, and you get the list and you go, these are the concrete things I need to happen. Then you have to talk to that person and say, these are the things that I need to stay here. And I need consistency with this. And then we've got to be sure, what do I do if they don't do these things? Like, what am I going to do and how am I going to do it? So it's really tricky, Jolanta. And I think it's really important to get clear with yourself and clear with the other person about where the lines are and setting some really strong boundaries around what's important. So yeah, Judy, my darling, I think I used the wrong word. You know what? I'm sure you didn't. It's okay to say tsunami. You've helped me immensely. I'm glad I've helped you and it is manageable, but I'm approaching the anniversary and it seems to come up with the wounds and that questions my decision to say, right, now I understand better. You got to understand, girls, lots of people on the internet have the same names. I now know who you are. Don't you love that? The thing I love about the awful Facebook is and the Zoom is that I get to see your faces, so I know who you are. When I come on here, I often don't know who you are, and people have the same name. So for the women who I've worked with, I do know who you are, especially if I see your face. So, and that will remind me. So I now know who you are, my darling. So here's the thing: if it's an anniversary, that's a trigger, right? So if a person has had an affair, for example, and we have the time that we found out about that affair, and it triggers us, that's different. So when the trigger comes up, it's difficult. So Judy, I don't know if you have already been and looked at my Why Do You Cheat series at the top of YouTube. If you haven't looked at it already, go and have a look, because in that series I talk about, stay or go, right? That awful decision about stay or go, and then how that's a hard decision, right? And here's the other thing: it's a freaking hard decision to decide to stay, but for many women, it's what they actually choose. And they choose to stay because, you have more than the affair history. You have the relationship that you built maybe for decades together, and then the affair. And so you decided that you were going to stay. In that series, I also talk about when you make the decision to stay and why that decision is hard and how to get through that decision. In that series, I also talk about intimacy after the affair. And it's not just about intimacy. It's about reconnection after an affair, and how that other person is going to have to help you as you go through it. So every time the anniversary comes up, my darling, you are going to feel something, and your job is to go, oh yes, 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 it's that time of year. It's that time of year. And to notice this year, how 0 to 10, how painful is the trigger this year? Is it 5? Is it 7? Is it 8? Is it still 10? And it might still be 10, but you're noticing I'm triggered because this is the time of year that I found out. This is the time of year that I found out about the affair. This is when my world was shattered. And then reminding yourself, okay, what's happened since then? Has he been consistent? Has he shown up? Has he been honest? Has he been truthful to you? Have you both worked on the foundational stuff to help you move through these things? And those are the things, right? Those are the things to sit with and really, really, really think about. Okay, where are we at today? Is it a different place? And to share with him, this time of year is hard for me. It's hard for me because I remember what happened. And, I don't do that deliberately. I'm not trying to hurt you by bringing it up, but I want to let you know that it is a time of year that's really hard for me. So those are really important things to do. You know what I mean? It's important for us to honor the feeling, to feel the feeling, to process the feeling, and to let the feeling go. Those are words to some of you. Some of that sounds like this, blah, 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 blah. And I get it. I get it. When you have not learned how to feel the feelings, process the feelings, deal with the feelings, let go of the feelings, you sit there going, thanks, Debbie, that means nothing to me at all. That's what I try and teach in my membership, in my video series, in my work that I do, my one-on-one work that I do. Every single thing that I do is about helping women, giving women the tools they need. Because if we haven't learned to do this stuff, we don't know how to do it. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with us. It means that, you learn to drive a car. You had to get an instructor. You had to take lessons. They had to teach you things. You learned the rules, and then you were let loose on the road. And hopefully you didn't have accidents. Maybe you had accidents because you needed to have accidents because that taught you stuff, or other people who weren't as well trained as you hit you. Those things happen, right? Well, these are the things in our lives that we weren't taught, like how to set a boundary, how to have healthy communication, how to emotionally, psychologically cope when a relationship ends or a partner has an affair, how to love ourselves, how to have self-love, self-care, self-compassion, self-respect, all of the selves, right? All of those things. Maybe nobody taught us. And so maybe we need to learn. Maybe if you are part of my generation, I'll be 60 next month. Yep, I know. Looking good, Debbie. I know. But for my generation, those things were not part of what we were taught. And so we have to learn. Well, we don't have to, but we may choose to learn. We may decide. We may wake up and go, I want to love myself. I want to respect myself. I want to be kind and compassionate to myself. I want to take care of myself. And so if we want those things, we may have to learn them. And it might feel unfair. You might sit there and go, why should I have to friggin' learn? That doesn't seem very fair. It isn't fair, but it's helpful to do it. I have a daughter a delicious, scrumdiddlyumptious daughter who I'm so freaking proud of. I can't stand it. And I watch my daughter and I remind myself, I taught her those things. Oh, I'm feeling a bit jokey. I taught her. And she loves herself and respects herself and treats herself with kindness. And she is kind to herself. And she's still learning. But I watch, I had a conversation with her a few weeks ago and I was sitting in the car. I thought, my God, she is something else. She is something else. That beautiful child of mine is something else because she gets it. She knows that she has to set the tone for her life. She knows that she needs to not accept less than what she is worth. She knows that it's okay to hold out for the best for herself. She knows that she has to push herself into uncomfortable places so that she continues to grow and be the beautiful woman that she is. She knows that she has to be disciplined with herself, and she knows that because I taught her that. And she took it on board because teaching is one aspect. We can teach something to anybody and they can tell us to get stuffed and not do a damn thing. So she's embodied those things and run with those things. And we need to learn. And we need to be kind and compassionate to ourselves when we don't know those things because we didn't get taught them. And that's okay because we can learn them. And that's also okay. Judy, I used to be over the top Christmas, a bit like Kathy. For those who don't know, Kathy is one of my coaches. And Kathy, God bless her cotton socks, is that delicious. She loves Christmas. There's no tree going up to her, Judy. She's decided she's not putting a tree up. So I was like, what the heck? No tree. What's going on? So Kathy's not putting up a tree, but that won't stop her. Trust me. There will be shenanigans in December in the membership. Just watch out. But now dread what the season brings up, and our adult children do not know what happened. But notice I am not the mom that I used to be at Christmas time. And there'll be a time when this shifts, you know what I mean? And still, it's painful. What I'd suggest to you, Judy, something to think about. Every Christmas, if you're not the mom you used to be, that situation is stealing Christmas from you. And you might want to make a decision that you don't want your Christmas to be stolen again. Maybe you'll make a decision this year that this thing happened 3 years ago and it was really painful and I chose to stay. And I want to take back my Christmas joy. I don't want to lose it. I don't want it gone anymore. I want to keep my Christmas joy. And I don't want a decision that my partner made steal my Christmas joy. And that means you have to make a conscious decision to do Christmas different. Instead of allowing those historical things that are deeply painful and upsetting to you to cloud what is a joyful time of year, deciding, no, not this year. This year, I'm putting a stake in the ground and I'm claiming Christmas back. I want this Christmas to be the Christmas that I say, Christmas will be like Christmas is always because it is my joyful time of year and I'm claiming it back for me. Andrea, yes, she's fine. I don't know why she's decided not to put up a Christmas tree, Andrea. I don't know. Girls, for anybody who knows Kathy, and it doesn't look like Kathy's here this morning, that Kathy, she's like, I reckon she's Mrs. Claus. I really do. I reckon she is technically Mrs. Claus. But for some reason, she decided not to put up a tree this year. Her kids are getting older. I haven't asked her, but I think there would be a reason. But she's decided this year, for whatever reason, that no, there will be no tree. But she's still going to be all the Christmas things, trust me. Judy, oh yes, always find you when I need you the most. That's all right, darling, you're okay. Debbie, the playlist is not working on the top of this chat. No, it won't be. You need the link for it, my love. Let me see if I can put, because you got to understand, this gal right here in front of you is not the most techie in the whole world. I'm not the most techie person in the whole world. I will attempt to pull up my Word document that has the link in it. And I will attempt to get you. You want the Heartbreak to Healing one, don't you, love? So let me just see if I can copy it and pop it in. If you can't, what I can do, there you go. See if that works. That should work for the playlist. But so there you go. I've popped it in. If that doesn't work, when you go to my YouTube channel, at the top of my YouTube channel, it has playlist. If you click on playlist, it should have Heartbreak to Healing in there. So have a look at that and see if that works. If that one that I've just put in doesn't work for you. And for everybody who's listening, if you ever find something on my channel or wants to find something on my channel and you can't find it, then just pop it in. Hey Debbie, can't find it, and I will give you the link. Oh, it looks like it worked. You're welcome, lovely. Amy, good morning, my darling. You've retracted your message, which is a bit of a shame because I want to say hello to you. Hello, darling girl. It's nice to see you over here on the other side on my YouTube channel. I do love my YouTube channel. I've got to say it's been a marathon, not a sprint, girls. And my piece of hair is sticking out. It's been a marathon, not a sprint, but I'm finally getting the hang of YouTube, which is so good. And I'm starting to really love it. I love that I can do playlists and have things in groups so people can come and just kind of binge on stuff. I really love that I get to do lives. Lives will always be a part of what I do because I love doing lives. I love them, love them, love them. In my membership for YouTube next year, I've already started planning out what we're going to include in that. So I'll have that up. Just, to have things a bit more private. People like privacy a lot, which is, I get that. That makes sense to me. So we're going to have, stuff behind a little bit of wall so you can't see it. But you're flying it now. Yeah, I am, Carol. I am. I'm gradually getting the hang of it. I'm gradually starting to feel comfy, getting things organized and put in the right places and everything. So yeah, I am enjoying it. It's really nice. Moving from the dark side, from the Facebook and Instagram dark side over to here has been quite a challenge. But yeah, I'm getting on top of things finally. Judy, my darling, think I will be putting your channel on to decorate to the nines. Good for you. What a shock the kids will have this weekend. 24 bins of Christmas. Nice. Good for you, girl. Hey, Amy, I've done that with a holiday house down the south coast. I had my honeymoon there, and I've traveled there, I think, 11 times with my ex. The first time I went there with just the kids was hard. And I think, again, right, the firsts are always hard. The firsts are always hard. And we make choices. We can do hard things. We can do hard things, right? We can do hard things. And when we do hard things, they're not so hard. And we remind ourselves that, you know what, I've moved a long way. Like there are women here in this chat right now who I have watched do really hard things. Really, really painful, really difficult, really challenging, hard things, and come to the other side of it. But the hard things are where we reclaim things, where we put a stake in the ground and we say, no fucking way, this is for me, man. This is for me. I want that. I want my Christmas joy. I want my holiday home. I want to celebrate with my children. And we put a stake in the ground and we say, I'm claiming it back for me. And yeah, it might be hard. It might be really hard. It might find it really hard. And it might make me cry. I might cry, and it's okay. I can do that. I'm just looking at my phone because I'm turning the aircon off because it's gotten cold. So it's okay. And reminding ourselves, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. And maybe you need support doing hard things. Maybe you need guidance to do hard things. Maybe you need somebody to help you go, okay, how to navigate this hard thing. And if you do, I'm here, 24/7. You can put me on your telly. God forbid some of my members put me on their telly. I'm like, Jesus, me in a great big screen. That's interesting. But next year, and here's the exciting thing. So next year, because YouTube really is a platform that really will help me do the things that I love and I care about in the way that I love and care about them, there'll be a lot more of me in a different kind of way. So I'll be sharing my life with you, my garden with you, food with you. I'll be sharing more of me with you, my poetry with you, more musings with you about life. And I'm going to have a little playlist that is my kind of after dark. So my members know what after dark is, but I'll be having a lot more of that. And I'm really excited about doing that. I love working with women and helping women and guiding women. I love doing that. But I also love being an example. I fall, I make mistakes, I fuck up badly. I do. And I think one of the joyful parts of my life is being able to share my realness with you, and for you to see me not as an expert in my field, although I'm an expert in my field, but to see me as being like you. I am more like you than I am different to you. And I want you to see that part of me. I want you to get to experience that part of me. And, I'm passionate about whole foods and healthy foods and getting well through what we eat. I know a lot about gut health, which I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about my garden. I'm passionate about, you know, getting back to some very basic things that are really important that we have moved away from in our culture, about connection and bonding and getting off our freaking phones and the internet. Yes, I know you're here with me right now. But things that I'm really passionate about, I'm going to be talking about estrangement next year, about estrangement with adult children. It's a topic I'm very passionate about. So I'm going to be talking more about that and about, you know, how we have a generation that is really in trouble. Our children are really in trouble. And, you know, what we need to start setting some big boundaries with some of those big people. And I'm going to talk about that. So these are things that I'm looking forward to. And to have playlists on my channel where you can come, and when you've got a problem, you can go, oh, that playlist just talks about that one thing, and you can go and look at it. And if you need additional support to that, I'll have resources available for you so that you can then use those resources to help guide you and support you if you need them. And if you need additional support, you can come into my membership where we'll give you more support. And there are other things that I do, like my main membership, which my beautiful members are here right now, that it will also be available. So that will be the plan. Let's see what's going on. Here we go. This January will be the 3rd time, but it's ours now, and we love it. That's good. And I remember the first, Amy. I remember the first Christmas, how hard that was. I remember the tears of the first Christmas. Yep, you will be on the telly in your delicious glory. Well, Judy, I'll put on my best togs for you. I'll be looking smart and sharp if I'm going to be on the TV. I can do Christmas carols. I can't. Kathy's good at that. I can sing though. You're on my TV now. Oh my God, stop it, you lot. Yep, I need constant support. And Kate, I think a lot of us do. Do you know what I mean? And I think we live in a society that says we don't. But I think we do. As humans, we do need support. And it's okay to need support. And it's okay to need connection. One of the reasons I started the membership, my membership program, was because we do need people who get it. We do need people who care about us. We need familiar faces. We need to look into a crowd and be able to look through and go, I know you. I know you. Because that sense of belonging helps to soothe our nervous system. It's really, really important. Amy, my darling, and I'm usually here, Debbie, just no time to comment in the morning. It's fine, doll. Put me in the background. Just let me play loudly in your background. It's all good. Getting the kids off to school is really challenging. I remember it's like bloody railroad and frigging goldfish trying to get them out the door. Bloody hell. And I don't have to do it anymore. You know, now I get up in the morning. My only task is to go to the bathroom and grab a coffee. That's literally it. Carol, that's what's comforting about the membership. Some of the problems are just like ours. And I think, you know, I think what's really important, one of the things I think that kind of differentiates me from a lot of therapists, coaches is that I try really hard to just be myself. And I try to make the distance between me and you shorter. I like to not use a lot of the psychobabble language. I try really hard to be conscious about the fact that we're all just women trying to do our best. You know, mums, when I say just women, I don't mean like we're just, like we're less than, but what I mean is we're all just women. We're just all just trying to do our best. We're all trying to get through the day. We're all dealing with very similar issues. You know, I have been a single mama. I have been somebody who's been left in relationships. I have left people in relationships. I have been on the other side of affairs. I have kids with additional needs. I have kids who are strange to me. I have kids that do my head in. I have kids who I love enormously. I love them, but I set boundaries with them these days. You know what I mean? I have a partner, and my partner and I freaking lock horns sometimes, and he's neurodiverse and I'm not, and that causes issues, and we fight about stuff, and our attachment styles are intriguing, and we trigger the shit out of each other, and we've been together a really long time. We're up on our 23rd or 24th year. I lose track. Long time. But the bottom line is we are more similar than we are different, and I think that's important. It's important for us to all start to look at, I think, especially in these times. How are you like me? You have skin, you're like me. You have eyeballs, you're like me. You know, you have 2 legs, 2 arms, you're like me. You're a woman, you're like me. You know, you speak English, you're like me. There's so many things that are similar than that are different. And when you're different to me, I want to be curious about you. I want to be compassionate and curious. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know about that thing that makes us different. And I want to be curious. And I might not agree with you, but I'm curious. And I want to be kind and compassionate in my curiosity. I don't want to be othering you and putting you in a box that says, well, you're not like me, so fuck off. I don't want to do that. I want to say, you know what? Tell me more about that otherness. I'm curious about it. And I want to foster that, especially in 2026 when I think the world freaking needs it. It does. P.S. If you're new to my channel, yes, I swear. I'm a northern woman from the north of England. Like, I'm holding it back. I swear much worse than this. I mean, never the really bad words, but, you know, I'm a coal miner's daughter. What do you do? Okay, let's have a look what's going on. You've helped me love my garden again. Good. You know, I love the garden. Oh, my days. The flowers are coming up. The veggies are coming up. It's all happening in my hot, sunny garden in Australia. That's what's comforting about this membership. Some of our problems are just like ours. Yeah. Your membership has saved me and our relationship. God bless you, darling. Thank you. I can go to when I need the reminders. And I think that's the thing, right? A lot of us struggle because I really think that a lot of us struggle. It's expensive to get therapy now, bottom line. I know as a therapist that there are so many therapists who are buckling under the pressure, who are saying, I can't do this anymore. So a lot of therapists are leaving the field because it's hard, exhausting, and overwhelming. We're people too who are going through what everybody else is going through. So there's a shortage of therapists. Therapy is really expensive. Some people have to pay extraordinary amounts of money for healthcare, and you know, maybe you've got a massive wait list or whatever. So my hope is that this is a bridge. It's not one-on-one therapy, because I can't and wouldn't do that in a situation like this. You know, that's dangerous. I wouldn't do that. But women can book one-on-one sessions with me. Women can ask me questions in my membership program where I'm there to support them and guide them in a more personal way. Some of whom I have known for years, so I know their story. I know what they've been up to. I know what goes on in their lives, and so they don't have to repeat a story and have, you know, 3 sessions just to get to know them. I know who they are. I know what they've been through. And so that's helpful. And so that's the purpose, is to be a bridge that will hopefully fill in some gaps, not all of the gaps, but some of the gaps. Inexpensive, easy steps that will help you when maybe you're pacing the floor at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking, I can't do this. And maybe you do grab, you know, you get on my playlist and you watch it all and you go, oh, I'm still jittery. And you grab the survival guide I made for that playlist, or you go into my shop and you find something there that's helpful, or you book an appointment with me and you go, you know what, I actually think I need a one-on-one with you to just dive through some of this shit. The bottom line is, I think we all need that. And for some of us, that's hard. You know, for some of us, that's impossible. Like, some people cannot afford to get help. And so this hopefully is a space you can come to where you get some support for free. So you don't have to purchase something to come and see me. You can come to my Thursday lives free of charge and ask me questions. You know what I mean? It won't get you a cent. So yeah, there you go. I'll be your Christmas Carol. You're funny, Carol. You are a Christmas Carol, you gorgeous thing. You're so genuine and honest and true. Thank you, darling, as well as brutally honest when we need it as well. And you know, it's funny. It's funny doing YouTube, for example. I learn here who I am. I learn my own voice. A lot of you won't believe this because you see me as being this confident person. But the bottom line is, I see myself on video. I've got hundreds and thousands of hours of me on video because I do video. That's what I do. That's how I do workshops on video. I answer questions on video. I do my Zooms on video. Like, there's just a lot of Debbie's face on video. And I've been able to watch myself and learn about myself a lot. And sometimes I'm sad, and this came up yesterday. I felt misunderstood. I am a really direct person. I was raised in the north of England, in a family that didn't have any nonsense, at a time when everybody's straight shooting and there was no space for feelings, in a really traumatic family, a really traumatic, really like very painfully traumatic family. And so, you know, I have a lot of crispy outside, but inside there is compassion that is deep and wide, and I am deeply compassionate, that I'm brutally honest. Part of that is because I love the women I work with, and I do not want to just sugarcoat shit so they don't have to deal with stuff. And so I'm willing to love them enough to say things that will probably take their breath away. Not to hurt them or to be cruel, but because I love them enough to say, hey, this is something you need to look at, because I want to empower women. It is easy to say to somebody, well, they're a fucker. They did something bad to you. They hurt you. They're bad. Because that's really helpful. That feels so nice. It feels so good when somebody tells you it's their fault. That feels really good. And it might be their fault, by the way, but it feels really good. But it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you one tiny little dot. It keeps you stuck in being a victim in a story. So what I say is, yeah, they hurt you. What are you going to do about it? You're going to stay in that story and be stuck, or you're going to do something? Because you need to do something. You need to choose your very next right step. You need to choose how you will honor yourself, respect yourself, love yourself, be compassionate with yourself. You've got to choose what the next right step is. And that can feel really confronting and really hard, but it is done with such compassion and kindness. But yeah, it is not the easiest job to love somebody enough to be really honest with them, because we live in a culture that does not support that. We live in a culture that says toxic positivity is the dim of the game. Go girl, wear your crown, you're the queen, you deserve better, something good's waiting for you on the horizon, you're going to find your Prince Charming or Princess Charming. Yeah, you. Great, great. It's not true. It feels nice. I get how nice it feels, but it's not true. Everybody suffers. Life is hard. People hurt us. Whether they mean to or not, they do hurt us. Pain is part of being a human, and your job is to learn how the hell you're going to go through it. Your job is to learn, how do I move through this pain and suffering? How do I manage it? How do I grow from it? Where's the lesson in it? And that's what helps us move forward. All right, we've gone so long today. Look at you lot. We've gone so long. Let me have a read. You're so genuine, honest, and true. Thank you. I appreciate that. How is your man? All good, I hope. Appreciate being here. So there are two people in my life who have got some health issues at the moment. Both of them are intriguing. My partner is doing better. We have another appointment coming up. I think we've got a new appointment. I don't know the timeline, but there's another appointment coming up, but he's doing pretty well. Thank you. I will talk about that because it's quite personal on the membership. I won't talk about it too much on here, but I will talk about it more on the membership. So if you come into the next call, you'll hear about that. And my son, yeah, there's more news about that. I won't talk about that on here either, but that is something I'll talk about in the membership. So yeah. You love my honesty. I can't really do it any other way. Well, I can, but I choose not to. I choose not to do it any other way. And yes, that means I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Some people will come and go, I don't like you, you're not my cup of tea. And that's okay. That's okay. I am the cup of tea for the people who need this kind of help, who need this kind of help. And those women come to me and say to me, that is exactly what I needed. I didn't like it, Debbie. It didn't make me feel good. And some get really hurt and tell me, you hurt my feelings. And I'm like, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. That was not my goal. My goal is to help you move through this shit. That is my goal. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not for everybody. That's okay. We don't have to be for everybody. That's okay. All right. I think that's it. Is that it? Day one or one day? Yeah, exactly. You know, and we have to choose. We don't get to, and sometimes we choose it over and over again. You know what I mean? Sometimes our day one is now, and maybe it's again in 6 months' time, and it might be in another 3 years, and then we have a day one again. These things happen. It has been long today. I normally go for 30 minutes. We've gone for an hour and 7 minutes. My goodness, it's long today. Thank you for joining me, you gorgeous, scrumptious lot. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to go and hit the playlist and have a look at all my stuff. Do come along over Christmas where I'll be helping you to get through one of the stickiest time of year that's really challenging. And hit the notification bell. It will tell you when I'm live every single week. I think that's all the things I've got to remind you of. My darling ones, look after yourself. Look after yourself. Oh, ow! That was my funny bone on the desk. Not so funny. I don't know why it's called a funny bone, because it's not funny. For those who are in my membership, I will see you in the next coaching call over on Zoom. Look after yourselves. And I will see everybody soon. Take care, my darlings. And of course, for those who are not in my membership, see you next week. Same time, same station. Bye, everyone.